Today at Investigate TV Plus, the path to prison is often paved with illiteracy.
Would you say, other than mental health, that low literacy is maybe the second most contributing factor of whether you're going to be in a jail or not in your lifetime?
I think that's very safe to say.
We take an in-depth look at the relationship between incarceration and low literacy rates, one state's solution to boost reading scores, and how a former detainee unlocked success.
Plus, the age of fraud.
He was like my handler.
A swindler robbed a senior citizen of her sense of security.
Just evil.
We examine why scammers often target older adults and show you steps to take to protect yourself or a loved one.
Then, Memaw's Making a Difference. A group of older adults gives paramedics insight into a critical first aid response.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. Inside the classroom, America's children continue to struggle with a symptom of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Reading scores in the 2024 test known as the Nation's Report Card revealed both 4th and 8th graders continued a downward spiral. Young people in both grades scored an average of 5 points lower than kids who tested before 2019. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm T. Chappelle. Reading and writing are crucial for navigating everyday tasks and a key indicator whether students will graduate or drop out of high school. And further evidence connects low literacy with crime.
In Georgia, for example, our investigation uncovered a connection between illiteracy and overcrowding in state prisons and jails. Investigative reporter Andy Parati takes an in-depth look at literacy's link to the criminal justice system and a solution to improve student outcomes.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Kayla Hill is headed somewhere she doesn't want to go.
I might cry, honestly, because life's a lot different today.
On her way to the Barrow County Detention Center in Northeast Georgia, where she served time behind bars in and out of custody, 6 years for drug-related offenses. But this time, as a free woman and sober.
When you walk through the doors of this jail, what were you thinking?
A lot. Really sad for the girl who came here. And honestly, just really, really proud.
Kayla says what saved her was a program to help get her GED while incarcerated. Before, the 33-year-old says she struggled to read basic words.
I remember being in Miss Harden's class at Belmont Elementary. And I think that's where I realized that I had an issue with reading. And they were going around the room, and I had no idea, like, where people were when they were reading, how they knew what they were saying.
A report published by the U.S. Department of Justice 30 years ago echoes Kayla's struggle in the classroom, shedding light on the link between poor reading proficiency and incarceration, revealing that reading failure is most likely a cause, not just a correlate for delinquent behavior, adding on average, incarcerated juvenile offenders are severely crippled readers. Judd Smith is the Barrow County Sheriff.
It's plug and play. It is 100% a link that if you do not have literacy and you don't have an education, you are walking down a path of recidivism, criminal activity, and then at that point, you're taken from society.
Testing results released by the National Assessment of Education Progress released in 2025 underscores the severity of the problem. The line on this map identifies what's considered a proficient reader in 4th grade. Since 1998, Georgia's 4th grade reading scores have never reached that proficiency goal. According to the Prison Policy Initiative, Georgia locks up 968 per 100,000 people. That's not only the highest in the U.S., the state incarcerates more people than any free democratic country on earth.
Would you say, other than mental health, that low literacy is maybe the second most contributing factor of whether you're going to be in a jail or not in your lifetime?
I think that's very safe to say, and I think that all the data shows that.
So why are literacy rates so poor in Georgia? The DOJ report places blame on colleges and universities for not adequately preparing future teachers, concluding that most teachers have little or no knowledge of phonetics or intensive systematic phonics programs. In other words, not enough focus on instruction that includes sounding out words. The tragic side effect, the report wrote, is that reading teachers inadvertently victimize their students with less effective, if not ineffective, reading instruction.
It hurts my heart. The word victimize seems like such a strong word, but it's true. It's true.
Shannon Hammond is Executive Director of Adult Literacy Bureau. She spent decades as a Georgia elementary school teacher and administrator. Shannon says teachers are not to blame. She says they were only teaching how they were told to teach by universities.
I would have tears from teachers in the sessions, and they would just say, I feel so guilty. I think about all the students that I've taught that I did a disservice to. And I always use the Maya Angelou quote about we do the best we can until we know better, but once we know better, we have to do better.
30 years after the DOJ study, an education policy group says higher education is largely not doing better. The National Council on Teacher Quality, or NCTQ, published a report in 2023 concluding that too many teachers are not training in scientifically based reading instruction. It gave 191 college programs in 44 states a failing grade, including 7 institutions in Georgia, after identifying what it calls debunked reading methods in course material. The University System of Georgia has oversight of higher education in the state. It did not respond to requests for an interview, but wrote that it has strong concerns with NCTQ's findings, which studies have shown rely on flawed research methodology.
I think it was scary having to learn how to believe in myself.
3 years after earning her GED, Kayla is more than a proficient reader. She's a teacher at Lanier Technical College, helping students learn to well, giving them new skills and a chance at a bright future, something she almost didn't see for herself.
It gave me something to tell my kids that I'd done for myself that I was proud of.
Georgia Public Schools are currently implementing new reading curriculum and teacher training lawmakers mandated 2 years ago. And in April 2025, Governor Brian Kemp signed a bill banning a controversial method of teaching reading called 3Qing. Some education advocates contend the strategy encourages children to guess words using context clues and pictures rather than decoding them through phonics. The law also prohibits Georgia Public Schools from using Reading Recovery, a long-standing reading intervention program for struggling first graders. A 2023 study by the University of Delaware found it can be harmful to some students. In Atlanta, I'm Andy Perotti.
Still ahead, a grand response.
Can you wrap the shoulder or anything like that?
We provide insight into the Memaw Brigade and the unique training experience they provide for paramedics and firefighters.
But first, older Americans face threats to their financial and mental well-being.
So, it was painful because I knew then I was in a scam.
We examine why seniors are the frequent target of fraudsters, the signs someone you know may be caught in a scam, and steps you can take to protect their money.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes. Every year, the FBI says millions of older Americans fall victim to some type of financial fraud.
In 2024, Americans lost billions to fraud, but people over the age of 60 were especially hard hit, losing nearly $5 billion to scammers. The FBI says the total could be higher because many fraud victims are too afraid or ashamed to come forward. With the U.S. population getting older, elder fraud remains a growing problem.
Consumer reporter Tammy Elliott explains why older adults are often the target of fraud and offers solutions to help protect their money.
A call from what appeared to be a trusted pharmacy. A Wisconsin woman, who we are only identifying as Janet, picked up the phone and heard what sounded like an urgent message about her Medicare benefits.
It sounded legitimate when they called because it was CVS.
Janet listened to what the man on the other end had to say and admits she was initially suspicious. But
he said, I've worked for Medicare for 29 years. We have to update your record. And he just kept pushing that.
She says the man kept pressing her for her Medicare number and repeated that her benefits had been taken away and urged her not to argue. The longer she stayed on the line, the more compelled she felt to give in.
They just, pull you in, and then, I didn't know what they were going to do with my number.
Janet is just one of the tens of thousands of older Americans who fall victim to a scam every year. The National Council on Aging says defrauding seniors has become a lucrative business. According to the FBI, elder fraud takes many forms, from government imposters, a phony investment opportunity, or the grandparent scam, where they impersonate a loved one in urgent need of money.
I think they are very susceptible to people that really know how to play them, and I guess a better term would be to prey upon them.
Ron Boyd is the CEO of the Local Office on Aging, or LOA, in Roanoke, Virginia, and says one of the main reasons senior citizens are targeted is social isolation.
In many cases, most cases, lonely. They're vulnerable. They want someone to talk to, and they just believe the best in people.
Boyd says many older Americans were taught to listen to authority and believe people are basically good. A 2023 article by Psychology Today echoes Boyd, saying that trust is part of generational and cultural factors that scammers try to exploit.
They were raised not to question, not to get angry.
If you know someone who's caught up in a scam, the Federal Trade Commission says it's important to lead with empathy, avoid criticism or disappointment, and you should try to validate the victim's story. Once a senior opens up, Boyd says that you should try to relate to them and not judge, and share one crucial piece of advice.
It's all right not to be trusting, and it's all right to question and verify.
As for Janet, she followed the scammer's directions.
The handler would come back on again and say, they're going to offer you a back brace and a knee brace and wrist brace. And you just say, okay. And I said, I don't need any of that. Just say yes to everything they say.
She ended up ordering thousands of dollars worth of medical equipment she did not need. Days later, those medical devices started arriving at her house, a painful reminder of the time and trust the scammers took from her. Janet says the experience has caused her to think twice before picking up the phone.
Every time a doctor calls, I think, just wait for a message, because you don't know.
Janet was able to refuse delivery of all those packages and says she was not charged. After contacting Medicare about the call, Janet had to get a new Medicare number. Since then, she says she's had no further issues. Jessica Johnston with the National Council on Aging says it's critical to protect your Medicare number because, like in the case of Janet, it can be used to file false claims.
So your Medicare number is really kind of as important and as personal as your Social Security number, and should really be protected in the same way because it can be used for people to get fraudulent claims.
Johnston also encourages seniors to take a deep breath and verify any calls or texts.
Medicare is never going to call you unless you've asked for help yourself. And so really be wary of people, claiming that they are calling you, even if they have some of your basic information.
The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid urges people to call 1-800-MEDICARE to report items they did not order or authorize. In Green Bay, Wisconsin, I'm Tammy Elliott.
Still to come, they look and sound like something out of an Alfred Hitchcock movie. And befoul the ground with, Well, you know, we explore one city's crow quandary and show you the innovative ways they're cleaning up a foul problem.
But first, a group of grandparents tackle a critical new role.
I felt like a snap or something.
We introduce you to members of the Memaw Brigade and show you why their work could save lives.
Just outside St. Louis, a group known as the Memaw Brigade plays a critical role in the community.
These safety-minded grandmothers and grandfathers help first responders better diagnose falls. Each year, there are about 3 million visits to the emergency department due to falls and 1 million fall-related hospitalizations.
Reporter Steve Harris shows us how creative role-playing by the Memaw Brigade could help save lives.
Well, I just don't feel right.
My back of my neck is bothering me.
Confused and dizzy.
We're going to look for signs of a stroke.
Don't worry, 81-year-old Sophia and 90-year-old Vito are going to be fine.
All right, just going to check your blood sugar real quick.
Fact is, there's nothing wrong with them.
Hold your arms out like you're holding a pizza.
They're members of the Memaw Brigade. It's a cute name for grandma, and in this case, a training acronym for first responders. They're helping paramedics from the St. Charles County Ambulance District.
I felt like a snap or something.
Acting out medical emergencies.
The geriatric populations are our #1 fall patients. So what I like to do is actually use real life patients, and they came out and volunteered with us.
Sophia Bax volunteered for the Memaw Brigade. She's playing the part of someone with sepsis.
They have to be knowledgeable to pick us old people up.
Can you wrap the shoulder or anything like that?
And Vito's role? A guy who fell in the shower.
There's a lot of 20-year-old paramedics that have never spoken to a geriatric patient before. You can give scenarios all day long, but when you actually have a 80-year-old patient staring at you and answering your questions, it's a lot more real life.
So we always treat for the worst case scenario and then go from there.
These paramedics will be ready when it really matters.
And we're good.
Thanks to the Memaw Brigade.
Up next, counting crows.
We usually start around dark. That's when the crows come in.
These bothersome birds squawk from the treetops and drop a mess below. We show you how a raptor and a mighty green machine join forces to keep a city clean.
Downtown Portland, Oregon faces a crow conundrum. The flocks, known as murders, not only kill the vibe, they leave behind a rather dirty dilemma for businesses.
Reporter Bonnie Silkman shows us how a special team swooped in with a clever solution to clear the crows.
Crows, they fly in the thousands, moving as one. They're some of the sharpest minds in the animal kingdom, even known to show affection to humans by bringing us shiny gifts. But some of their contributions from above are not so appreciated by us below. Their mess even led to Portland unleashing this thing, the Poop Master 6000. But the mighty cleaning machine just couldn't keep up with the crows.
During the winter months, every single night in Portland, about 23,000 crows settle into the city, and it's Guy's job to chase them out of there.
Guy's a 9-month-old Harris hawk. He carries a little GPS transmitter. It's great insurance.
Hey, Guy. Guy seems sweet, but just his presence causes alarm for other feathered friends.
They're not happy he's here. This is probably the windiest day he's ever experienced in his 3-month flying career. So landing in trees in the wind is a new thing for him.
But Guy always knows how to find master falconer Court Clayton.
Falconry is a 4,000-year-old sport. Guy's eating right now.
What's for dinner?
Pigeon. He mostly eats birds.
Only the best for the newest member of the city's Crow Patrol.
We usually start around dark. That's when the crows come in.
As night falls, swarms of crows congregate to roost, seeking warmth and safety in numbers. And more frequently, they're choosing cities as their nightly haven. On duty tonight, we have Nate.
I have been a falconer for 9 years.
And Draco.
He's ready to roll. He's free to go.
It's unique, for sure, to see a hawk flying around in downtown Portland, let alone at night.
It really is incredible to watch this adult Harris hawk swooping and soaring all around us, landing on perch after perch along the dark city streets, disrupting any crows tucking in for the night.
There's a team of us, and 3 or 4 of us, and we're down here. We walk around, we each have a hawk. We spread out, cover different areas, and basically let the hawks loose. They follow us, and wherever we go, the crows go the other direction.
As we cross the street, Draco follows.
I feel like I'm being hunted.
But notice no screeching or chasing is needed because hawks are hunters, and the crows know that. What they don't know is that these birds of prey aren't on a hunt. Focusing on a 72-block radius, the hawks push crows and what they leave behind out of the downtown core, away from businesses stuck with the cleanup costs.
He knows that if he stays close, he's going to get rewarded for it.
So it turns out training birds that eat birds to scare off other birds is an effective strategy.
Good job, buddy.
That's paying off for Portland.
All right, if you were eating while watching that story, we're sorry, right?
Yeah.
The bird eating
the other bird. But that's the whole point. That's why they're afraid of the hawk.
And it worked,
The hawk is out.
The hawk is out. That's right. All right, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching. On the next Investigate TV Plus, many workplaces across the country now stock a life-saving medication.
It has saved tens, if not hundreds of thousands of lives to date and will continue to do so going forward as long as it is widely available.
We take an in-depth look at how businesses are stocking the opioid overdose reversal drug naloxone and the push for more industries to follow suit.